Alright, grade 11s. In this video we are going to do grade 11. We're going to do paper 1, and so as you can see it's from 2018 June, and it's Gauteng, of course. So let's go through the paper before we actually excuse me for a minute, just adjust this. Okay, so let us go through the paper. So it's 2 hours, as you can see. Right, you can read through the instructions. Okay, so question 1. Question 1 is some basic algebra here. Determine the values of x for which the following expressions are defined, and then determine the values of so we have 1.1 and 1, and then we have 1.1.2. so we have a radical, we have a fraction here, and then for which values of x will k, which is the square root of 3x minus 1 all over x minus 1 being non-real. So we're going to discuss those things. So for x, so here the solve for x, the most dreadly and feared questions. And then we have simultaneous equations. Simultaneous equations here. So these are very important here. Okay, so let's go through. Then we have question 2. Question 2, we are working with radicals, and then we are also working with some laws of exponents. 2.2 and then 2.3. This is the required knowledge of algebra here. Okay, so let's jump right in and let's tackle some of these questions. Okay, I hope you will learn with me. I hope you will understand some of the things here. So let's go through the paper. Okay, so I've already come here to whiteboard. I don't know what's going on here. This image doesn't want to load, but let's go through the questions. Okay, so question 1. Hello and welcome. So question 1, we have question 1, we have as I've said, determine the values of x for which the following expressions are defined. So for which values of x will square root of 3 square root of x minus 3 be defined? So for defined cases, let me create a note. Okay, let me just bring it here so that you can see. So let me just type for defined cases. Let me just say for undefined cases, right? So number 1, the square root of a negative. Number 2, what else? What are you thinking? Okay, number 2 is I'm forgetting. Okay, division by 0. Okay, so these are in our undefined cases. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a square root, so we need to work with number 1, right? So in other words, the square root of a negative does not exist, right? Meaning that the square root of minus 1, this is incorrect here, it does not exist. Okay, so that does not exist. Okay, so that means the number that that is inside here, the number, this number here, must be greater than 0. But it can also be equals to 0, because 0, the square root of 0 exists, right? Okay, let me just write this in black so you don't get confused. The square root of 0 exists, but the square root of negative 1 does not exist. Okay, so let's solve the question. So it will be x minus 3, right? It must be greater or equals to 0. So I'm going to transpose the 3, and then we're going to be left with sorry, not 3. We're going to have something like this: x is greater than or equals to 3. The sign changes. So these are the values of x, meaning that if you draw a number line, let me just make sure. If you draw a number line, right, and then you stand at 3, right, here's your 3, then x should be greater to 3 onwards, including if you stand on the number line, right? But look at this, the numbers, that didn't work. The numbers going this direction, they do not, meaning x will be less than 3. Here x will be greater or equals to 3. This is what you are looking for here. Okay, so let's continue. But in the exam you can simply write this, it's still correct, just for you to understand. Okay, let's continue. Here now we have a fraction. Let me bring our note here. Okay, so we have a fraction here. So our fraction, sorry, our undefined cases are here, right? So division by 0 is not allowed. So for which values of x, what value of x can you put here to make the bottom number or the denominator to be 0? Well, 3 minus 3 is 0. We know that. Okay, so x cannot be 3, right? But let's solve that mathematically. Okay, so we have something like this. Take the denominator, x minus 3 is equals to 0. I transpose x is equals to 3. Therefore x cannot be 3, right? Because, sorry about that, because 3 minus 3 will give us 0, and we know that division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, so let's continue our conquest. I hope you are understanding here. Okay, so for which values of k will for which values of x will k be non-real? Okay, for non-real it's still undefined. So you can see by just looking that x cannot be minus 1. Oh, sorry, cannot be plus 1. Right? Okay, and that is because of this. Division by 0 is not allowed. Okay, so let's continue. But that is not only these values. Let us take the whole expression. I will tell you why. Okay, so this expression here, let us take it and say 3x minus 1 over x minus 1. Look at that expression, it's under a radical sign. And what did you say about the radical signs? The square root of a negative is not defined. So meaning that this must be greater or equals to 0. Okay, so let's solve for x here. Now you might be tempted to multiply by throughout, but that's not the case here. You can't multiply, meaning you can't do this. You can't multiply like times x minus 1 times x minus 1. You cannot do this. You can't. You simply can't. Okay, let me explain why. If I have a is greater than b or equals to, then I divide by x. I divide by x. If x is positive, this will remain true. But if x, let me continue from here, but if x is negative, maybe x is minus 1. This is a, not 9. If we divide by negative, what should happen to the sign? The sign should change, right? It should look this direction. It should change because we're dividing by negative. Those are one of the rules of inequalities, but we're not covering inequalities today. We're just going through the exam paper. Okay, so we do not know, right, the x value. It can be negative, it can be positive, and if it is negative, it's going to change this sign, and if it is positive, yes, it's not going to change. So we can't really multiply throughout. Let me get rid of this. We can't really multiply. Okay, I'm sure you understand that. So here's a better approach. Here's what you can do. 3x over x minus 1. Sorry, that's minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, that will be greater or equals to 0. Let me just bring this down. We're going to make some space. Okay, so then the reason I did this, I just split the two. I can do that. So if you do not understand the things, the what I'm solving here, you can WhatsApp me with a cell phone number that I gave you guys. Okay, because today is not a day for inequalities. It's there to go through the question paper, right? Okay, but let's go through this. So I'm going to transpose, right? So that will be 3x over x minus 1 is the same as 1. Oh, it's not the same, it's greater or equals to 1 over x minus 1. Okay, so then you can multiply throughout then. Okay, if you multiply throughout, it's going to be this x minus 1 x minus 1. Okay, so this is going to cancel that, and this is going to cancel that. I hope you can see that. But left to 3x is greater or equals to 1. Okay, so you simply do this: x is greater than or equals to 1, right? So over 3. Yeah, so here x is an element. Since we have two numbers, look, we have two x values. It's this one and this one, but this one here, x cannot be, right? Okay, let me illustrate that on a number line. Here's our number line here, and then we have the smallest is 1, right? It's 1 over 3, and then another one is 1. Okay, so we are saying that x is greater or equals to notice I'm leaving a circle there. So the reason I do this is because we did exclude 1 here. We do not want 1. But if we take the values of okay, I just noticed something, but okay, if we take the values of values greater than 1, you are going to get something like uh, 3 is to 1, 3 is to 1 minus 1 is to 0, 3 is to 2 minus 1. Okay, this one is too complicated, but these are the two values, guys, as you can see here. We're going to discuss this in more detail. Okay, so I don't know why this does not want to download. Which question is this? Let me see. Question 1.32. Let me just for now delete it. 1.32. It's this one. It's this one here. It's this one. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so solve for x. Now let me introduce something you did know but you didn't know but you did know. Okay, so let me take my beautiful note here and let me start writing. Okay, sorry about that. For now, we must know the 0. Oops, what's going on here? The 0 product law, right? So what does the 0 product law states? If a times b, let me just create some space. If a times b is equals to 0, what do you think, guys? Any number, okay, then a is equals to 0 or b is equals to 0. So what I'm trying to say is any number multiplied by 0 is 0, because any number that we multiply by any number and then we get 0, it's either one of those two numbers is 0, right? So we can apply this 0 product law here, because look at this beauty. We can represent this, the first bracket as a, then we represent the second bracket as b. They both of them are multiplied, right? And then they evaluate to 0. So it's either a is equals to 0 or b is equals to 0. So it's either x plus 1 is equals to 0 or x minus 1 over 2 is equals to 0. Therefore, the values for x is equals to minus 1 or x is equals to positive half or 1 over 2. So here you get your beautiful marks, 2 marks. Yeah. Oh, 1 point. So let's go to 1.3. Here it is 1.3.2. So here it is simple. The correct 2 decimal place, it gives you a hint. Now a hint to do what? A hint to use the quadratic formula. It states like this: x is equals to my negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that will be, our b is 1, so that will be negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared minus 4 into a is 1, b is minus 1 all over 2a. Oops, I should put 1 here. Okay, so if you punch that in the calculator, and guys, you have to punch this in the calculator exactly as it is, or else you're going to make mistakes. I'm going to teach you that when we meet in person. Okay, so so if you punch that in the calculator, I did this, I don't want to repeat this. Okay, so x, you get x as x is equals to 0.62, or x is equals to minus 1.62. These are your two x values. Okay, so let's get back to 1.333. Okay, great. Let's go on. 1.33, there it is. Okay, so this is what, this is an inequality. Okay, so I want to I want us to go through this step by step. So this is a quadratic function. It's in its standard form. Standard form meaning that, it's in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0, or is greater than or less than. Oh, I missed it. Anyway, it's equals to 0. This is the standard form, where a is 1 and b is minus 2 and c is 1. Okay, so in this way we just open two brackets, is less than or equals to 0. So here we're going to get x and x. What are the two numbers? The two numbers that when you multiply, they give you what? They give you 1, positive 1. But when you add them or when you subtract them, they give you what? Negative 1. Oh, negative 2. So ask yourself then, I have realized we have still 3 minutes already. Okay, ask yourself then, okay, what are the factors of 1? The factors of 1 is just 1. It's just 1 and 1. How can we get 2 here? By simply adding. But we need negative 2, meaning that it should be negative 1 and negative 1. It's negative 2. But let's check, is this going to give us c? This one? Yes, because a negative times a negative will give us positive. So in this case, a negative 1 times a negative 1 will give us negative 1, positive 1. Did I say positive 2 here? Anyway, let's continue. So that should be minus 1, minus 1. So the critical values are x is equals to simply 1. Now you might be asking, okay, how do I decide the final answer? Okay, there are too many ways to do this, but for now, because of time, I'm going to show you one way, right? So draw, right, a number line. First, you know that this is what x squared is, what is the parabola, and the shape of the parabola is simply something like this. Okay, so step number 2, write down the roots that we got only 1. Okay, so draw a parabola such that it touches those roots that you found. So I'm going to nicely draw a parabola. Oops, it should touch one because with only one root. So this is our nice parabola. Why is it facing up? Our A is 1, and if A is 1 and it is positive 1, the graph is going to look up. We're going to discuss functions in another video. So great, so the graph touches here. Now for which let's look at this. Let's look which values of x is the graph below or at 0. Now remember that this is below 0 and this is above 0. Now I ask again, which values of x is the graph below 0 or equals to 0? Here it is 0 or equals to 0. Now you might ask yourself, where do I get this from? I get this from the Cartesian plane. Something like this, where y here is 0 and x is 0, stuff like that. I get this from the Cartesian plane. So now, which values of x, I ask again, is the function below, is the function here or equals to 0? It is just 1, as you can see here. It is just 1. Okay, so x is equals to 1. I hope you got that. Let's go up and up and up. Okay, let's bring this just up. Okay, I might need space here, but let's go. So it's still solve for x, guys. Let's continue, by the way. So what do we have? We have x plus 3x multiplied by the square root of x minus 1 is equals to 1. So this one, we cannot apply the zero product law. Number 1, there are no factors. No factors. Number 2, it is not equals to 0. So we can't apply the zero product law. Okay, so we have to simply solve for x. Okay, but this one is very interesting, as you will see. So let's continue. So I'm going to say x minus 1 is the same as negative 3 square root of x minus 1. So I brought this 1 here, and this square root of this 3 and square root of negative x minus 1, square root of x minus 1 to the other side. Okay, now to remove the radical, you simply square, right? But be careful, this is going to be x squared minus 2x plus 1. Why am I doing the brackets? Is the same as, what is negative 3 squared? Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Now this, as for here, we're going simply going to remove this, but a lot of you are going to write it like this. Incorrect. Let me write this aside. Do you see this? That is not equals to 9x minus 1. Not. Let's do it again. Remember, 3 was multiplying, so 9 should also multiply. That is very important, guys. Okay, so that is actually x squared, right? Minus twice x plus 1 is the same as we multiply through, that will be 9x minus 9. Okay, we transpose now. X squared, I'm transposing 9 minus 9x minus 2x, I'm transposing 9 plus 9 plus 1 is the same as 0. Now this looks familiar, zero product law. But let's continue. Let me just get rid of this downwards. Okay, so here we are simply going to do this. Look at the like terms, so that will be x squared, right, minus 11x plus 10 is the same as 0. So you open two brackets, right, you say x and x, right. What are the two numbers that when you multiply? So let's write down the factors of 10. So that will be 10, that will be 5, that will be 2, okay, and that will be 1. What are the factors of 10? So let's work this out. What about 10 and 1? So 10 and 1 are going to give me 10 times 10. 10 times 1 is 10, correct. 10 plus 1 is 11, correct. Okay, so and this is going to work this times this. Is 5 and 2 going to work? 5 and 2, 5 times 2 is 10, correct. 5 plus 2, 7, okay. 5 minus 2, 3, incorrect. So 5 and 2 do not work. We're going to take 11 and 1, okay. So let's put 10 and 1. So we're going to take 10 and 1. So which one should be positive, which one should be negative? Okay, so look at the middle one. The middle one is negative, the middle term, but this one is positive. Okay, so it means that this is going to be negative, and also this is going to be negative, because negative 10 times negative 1 is going to give us positive 10, and negative 10 and negative 1 is going to give us negative 11. Okay, zero product law, x is the same as 10, or x is the same as 1. Okay, so but do not trust every answer. Do you know why? When you have this radical sign here, do not trust every answer that you get. Okay, so we're going to continue from here, and we're going to say substitute x is equals to 10, right? So that will be, where's our equation? Okay, so we're going to use this and substitute. So that will be 10 plus 3 square root of 10 minus 1. Okay, so that will be 10 plus 3 square root of 9. Okay, and that will be 10 plus 3 times 3, and that will be 3 times 3 is 9 plus 10 is 19. Okay, and 19 is not 1. Okay, so substitute x is equals to 1, right? So then that will be 1. Look at the equation as a substitute, do not trust me. Plus 3 square root of 1 minus 1. Okay, is equals to 1. So 1 plus 3 square root of okay, 1 minus 1 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0, and then that's 1. This is simply going to be 0, and 1 is equals to 1. So here x is equals to 10 is not valid, but x is equals to 1 is valid. So therefore x is equals to 1. x is not 10. Okay, I hope that rings some bells, or you do understand the laws of exponents. Okay, this one, it's so a little hint I can give you here is, look at the bases. The base, we have 3x, 3 to the x, 3 to the x, 3 to the 4. There's a little bit of repetition there, and in mathematics, when you see repetition, you might think of doing this: take out the common factor. So 3x to the x divided by 3 to the x is 1 plus 1 plus 1 is the same as 3 to the 4. Okay, so 3 to the x times 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. I'm kidding. I'm checking if you're still awake. So, but we know that this is 3 to the 1, right? So 3 x dot 3 to the 1 is the same as 3 to the 4. Okay, and then let me continue from here. We have some space, and then okay, let me just repeat: 3x dot 31 is equals to 3, 4. Okay, and then sorry about that. And then laws of exponents. Remember that am times an is the same as am plus n. Do not forget these, guys. Never ever. Okay, actually nb. Yeah, so here that will be 3x plus 1 is the same as 3 to the 4. Also remember this, b, not b, yeah, b to the m. Okay, if b to the m is b to the n, therefore m is equals to n. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if the bases are the same, we equate the exponents. Okay, so x is 3. Okay, correct. No, that should be beautiful. Correct. No. Correct. Better. So simultaneous equations. Okay, I have to be quick, guys, because of time. Sorry about that. Okay, so first things first. Okay, label this equation number 1, label this equation number 2. Okay, here look at this. From equation number 1 or from equation number 2, we can simply say that I'm transposing, I'll be transposing the minus 2 to the other side, right? Excuse me, guys, just for a second. Okay, we're back. So from 2 I can okay, I was saying that I'm transposing the 2 to the other side. In other words, from 2, negative x, right? Negative x is the same as 6 minus 2y. Okay, so now again I can simply say this: I divide by the negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. Okay, so I can simply say positive x is the same as positive 2y minus 6. Okay, so I just created what? Equation number 3. So I hope I'm not losing any one of you. So let us go ahead and solve this. So substitute equation 3 in 1. Okay, so wherever we see x, we put this. So therefore that's x squared, that will be 2y subtract 6 all squared. Okay, and then plus 2x, which is 2y subtract 6, okay, multiplied by y, that is the same as 3y squared. Okay, so before you go, check, did you substitute correctly? Yeah, to avoid being stuck. So if you multiply that throughout, I'm not going to do that step by step. You're going to get something like 4y. Okay, you're going to get something like 4y squared subtract 24y, right, plus 36. I just multiplied this. Okay, and then plus 4y, okay, minus 12 times y is 3y squared. Okay, so let's continue again. Look at this. We still have to simplify, don't we? So we have, but in the at the same time I'm going to transpose the 3, right, to save time. So that will be 4y squared minus 3y squared. This is the 3 that I transposed. Okay, subtract 24y, add 36. That will be, okay, so that's 4y times y, that will be 4y squared, and that will be subtract 12y is not 0. Okay, so like terms, this and this, 4y squared minus 3y squared is y squared, plus 4y squared is 5y squared. Okay, 24y plus 12y is 36y, negative 36y. So that will be negative 36y. You add 36, it's the standalone 36. Okay, now you can open two brackets because you have a standard equation, namely you have a, you have b, you have c, standard. Okay, now open brackets. So for this one, I know you'll be in a hurry in the exam, so just use the quadratic formula and do this. So 5y subtract 6, these are the factors, y subtract 6. Okay, so I'm used to x, guys. Y is 6, or y is 6 out of 5. Okay, now substitute y is equal to 6 in 3. Do you still remember our 3? Our 3 was this equation. Where was it? This one here. This is equation number 3. So I'm going to substitute y. So we're going to get x. X is 2 into 6 minus 6. So x is 12 minus 6. X is 6. So our first point is x is 6, y is 6. Okay. Substitute substitute x. Sorry guys, I'm used to x. Y is equals to 6 out of 5 out of over 5, and then in 3. Okay, so x is the same as 2 6 over 5 minus 6. X is the same as 12 over 5 minus 6. Okay, let me just so if you simplify this, that will be 12 over 5 subtract 30 over 5. Okay, and that will be not 12, that will be 14. I'm not sure. Confirm with me guys. So yeah, let me check here. Here's my calculator, just give me a second. Okay, so I found the answer. If you punch in the calculator, that will be minus 18 over 5. So our second point is x is negative 18 over 5 and 6. And 6 over 5. Ooh. 6 over 5. Okay. So 2.1. Simplify without the use of a calculator. So one can normally punch in the calculator and then get the answer, but they said without the use of a calculator. Okay, so let's do that. So that will be, what is the, okay, that will be, if you take 12, we can, what are the factors of 12 that contain, okay, what are the factors of 12? 12 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12 itself. Now pick which one is a perfect square. 4, right? Now we take 4. For us to get 4, we must multiply, or for us to get 12 from 4, we must multiply by 3. So this is the same as 12. So instead of 12, I'm going to write this. Okay, so that will be 3 square root of 4 times 3. Okay, minus the factor of 75. You can go and look up guys, but the hint here is that take 75, you divide by 3, you're going to get 25. So if actually this is going to be 3 times 25. Okay, so and then that will be 3 square root of 4 square root of 3 minus 3 square root of 3, sorry, times square root of I'm now writing things that I don't understand, square root of 25. Okay, why am I doing this? Let me write here. Square root of a times square root of b is the same as square root of ab. Okay, this was my a, this was my b. I made them to this. I split the radical sign. It's allowed in mathematics. Okay, so the square root of 4 is 2 times 3, subtract. So I advise you should leave 3 as it is. Sorry, the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6, square root of 3 minus square root of 3 times 5. We have a common factor, square root of 3. So the square root of 3, 6 minus 1, and that will be 6 minus 5, and that will be square root of 3. Okay, so let's go ahead. simplify without the use of a calculator. So here, guys, the approach is this: find the lowest exponent. Okay, the lowest exponent is 2010, as you can see. So that will be 2 2010 plus 2 squared times 2 2010. Remember, am times an is the same as an plus m. Okay, so that is equals to 5.2 2010. Yeah. Okay, if you take out the common factor here, and I can do that because there's a plus here. Okay, the common factor is 2010. Oh, 2010 World Soccer Cup. 2010, I can do that and I say 1, because 2010 2 to the 2010 divided by 2 to the 2010 is 1, plus here we take this out, that will be 2 squared, that will be 5.2 2010. This is going to be a problem. Okay, so that will be 2010 over, to the 1 plus 2 squared is 5, because 2 squared is 4 plus 1 is 5, is the same as 5.2010. And you are done. You did show. You don't have to solve anything. You did show, because I said show that these are equal. These are really, they are equal, because if I rewrite this is 5 point, or not 5 point, sorry, it sounds like a decimal, 5 times 2010, and that is actually equals to this. Okay, so hence calculate the value of. So now here, let me tell you something. Here I did struggle, guys, a lot, and I say a lot because I tried to find the base exponent or the lowest exponent, but that did not work, because I will show you why. This word, hence, it says use the answer from previous question, and I totally forgot that. So let's go back. Look at this. Let me highlight the grade. Look at this. Right? Now, look at this. We did show that this is equal. As we did simplify and simplify and simplify, we found that it's equals to this. Right? So you can write this. Let's go ahead. Okay, so that will be 5 to the 5 multiplied by 2 2010, okay, plus 10 all over 2 to the 2009 plus 1. And that is equals to, look at 10, guys. 10 can be written as 5 times 2. Okay, so that will be 5 to the 2010, right? Oh, I like 2010 times 2 to the 2010 sorry, plus 5 2 times 2 over 2 to the 2009 plus 1. Common factor, okay. Now we can use, we can use this lowest exponent, right? Then, okay, let me just continue it from here. Then we can say 5 times 2 times 1 times 2 2009, right? Plus 5.2 times 2, not 5.2, sorry about that. Okay, 2 to the 2009, right? Plus 1. Now, common factor. What is the common factor here, guys? So we have 5 times 2 exponent 1 times 2 exponent 2009, okay, and 5 times 2. Here's the common factor. Here is the common factor. Can you see it? So meaning that we have 5 times 2 into, this is 1 here, so we can just multiply that by 1 and get still the same 2009, plus this is number, right, all over 2009 plus 1. Now look at this beautiful thing. These two will cancel and you're left with 5 times 2, and that's 10. How beautiful is that? Okay, simplify. Now remember, if a exponent 1, then we can write this as this positive exponent. Then we can do the same thing here, 1 over x plus 1 over y. But let's further, let's find the common denominator, right? We're going to multiply by x, we're going to multiply by y. So that will be all over xy, the common denominator. So that will be x plus y, right? This is it. Now how did I do this? The common denominator is this. The common denominator is x times y. Okay, 1 over x plus times x y plus 1 over y times x y. Okay, so xy over x plus over x xy over am I doing the question here? Which question is this? Oh yeah, yes, it is. I'm getting lost. It's It's been long, guys. Okay, I've been recording for 1 hour. So let's continue. So here the x cancels x and the y cancels y, and we have the common denominator of xy of y plus x, and it's actually the same as this one. That's how I got it. Okay, let's go to the last question of today. I'll be doing question 1 and 2 today. So hence, remember, what does this mean? Use the answer you got from the previous question. Nah? So you're saying determine the sum of the reciprocals of two variables if they are, determine the sum of the reciprocals of two variables if they are sum, if they are sum, meaning if you add x and y, it should give you 10, and their product, this is their product, xy is 20, is equals to 1 over 2 is equals to 0.5. Okay, so that's it, guys, and yeah, so that's it for today. In the next video I'm going to do so we ended the video here. I'm going to do question 3, which is the patterns, and then I'm going to do functions while explaining, and probably that will be the last. Yeah, it should be. So I wish you the best, guys, in your exams and stuff like that, but keep on studying, keep on checking the videos. I'll be uploading videos, so yeah, and yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye.